Okay, and I am recording this time.
Okay, I hope so. Otherwise, it'll be another one-sided podcast. Where it's
I thought those ones were more favourably received.
better received, but only because they're 8 minutes long.
Yeah, you still go through and you cut it all. It's just like get rid of every gap and everything that I say. It's one continued sentence.
It's just this moment stretch over 8 minutes. It's just me going, a trash can, Damien. They stole my trash can. Can you believe who would steal a trash can? A trash can, Damien. Damien, what do you think about that? Are you there, Damien? A trash can, Damien. Are you there? And just silence, but I still publish it.
Excellent.
Welcome
Bleedingly fantastic.
Welcome to the Boisterous Brothers or the George Rockall-Schmidt Show or Super Mega Fast Sausage, whatever the fuck it's called. The only podcast on the internet, probably not. The only podcast on the internet. The only podcast on the internet where we're not afraid to say, hey, we're just waiting to die too. Damien, as ever, joins me. He's here. Right?
Hello.
Trash cans, Damien. Today we're talking about ghost films, ghost movies, ghost things. Media that has stuff to do with ghosts. Don't we just love it, Damien? Do we buy into it? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. I'm terrified. It's dark outside. It's it's windy. The curtains are rattling. It's obviously a spectre. I'm shitting my pants.
Is wind suggestive of a ghost?
I mean, that's definitely the kind of vibe that I kind of like try to pass off on my girlfriend because if I kind of cop to what my arse is doing, I think she might just leave me. I'm just like, yeah, it's a presence.
It was a ghost. A ghost duck. So I went to see Unfriended 2 at the cinema. I bet you've never even heard of it, have you?
I've heard of Unfriended. Yeah, I didn't realize they had the fucking audacity to make another one.
Well, Unfriended 2, bizarrely, doesn't really have a ghost story. It's more just about hackers who, start to fuck with people and... Have you seen the first one?
No, I know of it. It's... And it's kind of it's gimmick.
What are you doing? What are you doing with the microphone there? Is that a ghostly thing?
I wasn't doing a thing.
like the weirdest thing to start this podcast is like I bet I can just put this microphone up my arse without anyone hearing it. This instrument which is designed to collect sound.
Oh, you know what you should do? I think you should edit in another very subtle track, right? And just pile loads of distortion. We just get that fucking clip from Frasier, right?
Stop listening.
No. It's definitely fucking mooching around. Flesh is burning. No. We just have that throughout the background, right? So we've got it's something that's little. It's very heavily edited. You can't really quite, you can't suss it out, but it's there. It's very unsettling, and we can say that we were completely ignorant the whole time.
Oh yeah, it just happened to edit itself on there and everything.
Oh yeah, it's just we got spooks up in here.
And the question then would be, whose microphone was picking it up? Is the Daphne ghost in my house or in your house? Because presumably, if you have the Daphne ghost, you have the Niles ghost, or maybe the Daphne ghost is coming through your microphone, and the John Mahoney ghost doing flesh is burning and waddling around, buttering his toast, is coming from my microphone. What? Why are you laughing at that? Right, okay. I know this sounds like bullshit, but an hour ago, I watched the last ever episode of Cheers. All right? And I'm pretty fucking fragile.
Oh, really?
Have you ever seen it?
No, I've never really watched Cheers properly. I've seen a fair bit of it, but I've never watched anything in kind of long kind of consecutive stretches.
I never watched Cheers properly either, and then I accidentally sat down and watched 6 seasons of it. And I actually have to say it's actually pretty funny. It's good. It doesn't condescend at all, which I often assume most sitcoms do. It's good, but it ends in a way where it's just like, and that's it. And there's no real sort of ending. The bar doesn't burn down. No one gets super rich or anything. Well, apart from Woody. And it's just kind of like, well, yeah, These people are losers. What did you fucking expect? And I just related to it.
Oh, fantastic! Well, I thought you were going to go. You were going to kind of go down the avenue of everyone's kind of there, just peeling out slowly. As their lives dwindle away.
Yeah, that is, okay. Or you mean like dropping off?
But Norm doesn't have his health. Norm comes in. He's holding a piece of paper from the doctor. He's about to open his mouth, and that's when it cuts the credits, and you never see it again. And obviously, the inference is there that he's got some very bleak news that he's been given. There's a terminal diagnosis on that piece of paper. His eyes are. You can't see tears anymore because he's completely cried out, but you can see that his eyes are so bloodshot that they are burning from the salt that has been bursting out of his eyes.
So Norm comes in and he's got beer cancer, and then Cliff is next to him, and Cliff says, "And I'm a loser." And then Ted Danson leans in and he says, "And this series ending represents the end of the peak of my career." Only Frasier dances off.
Frasier comes in and takes his shit on the floor and then fucking dances off. He's tiptoeing through the tulips, Yeah, it is sad. I don't know why I brought it up. There could be a ghost in Cheers. I don't know. I know the ghost thing wasn't going anywhere. Let's just call this episode Cheers. Well, I thought it was a bit. It was curious that you wanted to talk about ghosts because that's what I think we.
Curious that I just talked about anything really.
Yeah, I think it's impressive because knowing the amount of prep work that invariably goes into this, the fact that we're at the 7-minute mark and we're not just kind of basting in our own silence, but. Yeah, no, I did think it was quite curious that you decided to talk about ghosts because I think, as we have discussed on previous podcasts,
we are afraid of a ghost.
We are not afraid of a ghost. So
I am afraid of a ghost.
Oh, was that what it was? I thought that we just clarified that if they just come in like ones, it's fine. I'm not afraid of a ghost. It's fine.
Listen, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I remember less than 10% of what we said in the previous 37 episodes, and I remember almost nothing of the Boisterous Brothers. I mean, probably we've said everything that we could ever say or would want to say. That's the inherent problem with a podcast, isn't it, Damien? It's utter shit. It's utter bullshit. Why is anybody listening to this? This is B content at best.
At best, but I know what we could really do to really fuck people off. We could just say that, we're kind of laughing it off like, we don't do any prep. But what this actually is a pretense. So what we're going to do now is we're going to debate what we were actually saying. We're just saying, I'm afraid of a ghost, or I'm afraid of whatever it was. And yeah, fuck it, whatever. So we have this kind of pretense that we're going to have a debate, and what happens now is we just fucking roll into a clip show, the best of the fucking George Rockall-Schmidt show. Here's a clip.
Skylar, you've got to understand something. I'm not afraid of a ghost. I am the ghost. Cabra. Marie.
Oh. So yeah, they've clearly missed this.
Okay, so I saw Unfriended 2. Oh, I keep trying to talk about this. It was shit. It was so shit. But let's go to the idea of Unfriended 1, which is a film told entirely through a screen-captured desktop, and is about a ghost that can dial people at will and remove the reply all button. Oh my fuck.
Yeah, I would fucking shit my britches if I was in that fucking position.
Oh, I don't. Well, what's the point of even talking about this? Fuck ghosts.
Just like Dan Aykroyd fucked them in the mouth.
Coming in here, moving my stuff all around, moving my little soldiers around, my toy soldiers. Never mind.
My bread soldiers. My fucking breakfast man.
My bread soldiers. Unfriended 2. Well, what have you...
All right, I foresee that this is the next 50 minutes of this show. It's like 30 seconds of horrible fucking noises from either one of us, and then, all right, seriously, Unfriended 2. All right, I'm trying to find something to say, but all I can do is just let my throat collapse in on itself.
All right.
Okay, now, Unfriended 2.
Let's move on with that. I saw another film called Demon House.
Demon House. Okay,
Demon
I'm
House.
not. I don't know what to expect there.
It's made by a gentleman called Zach Bagans, who I assume has the finest weed in all of Bag End. And he made it. He's famous apparently for doing this series called Ghost Adventurers, where they, well, as you would imagine, they go into haunted locations and film things being weird and film blurs and document themselves saying, "Oh God, I have quite the willies." Yeah. And anyway, he made a film called Demon House, which came out this year. I can't remember where I found it, but essentially there's apparently a house in Gary, Indiana, which is a shit stain on a shit stain. It's meant to be the most haunted house in all of Bag End.
I'm Zach Bagans. I'm one of the world's leading researchers on ghosts and demonology. And this film is cursed.
Right. Okay. So that's quite interesting. Do they?
Okay.
Do they?
Well, you saying
how
that
do
makes
they
it sound like it isn't
quantify?
interesting at all.
No,
What?
it's just the claim that something is the most haunted. I'm interested in how they quantify that.
Well,
Do they mention that at all?
They get a plastic receiver, the sort that you would see in the 80s, like a white telephone. They get that and they show the telephone receiver all of the house, and on the other end is Dan Aykroyd, and the noise Dan Aykroyd
He's just there
makes.
going, yep.
Whoop. He's like, yep. Okay, so it was definitely something centered on the wardrobe that got the Aykroyd meter going. He's very busy.
Is he? I've seen only clips from shows like that, and it's just all I see are like these kind of like dude bros just going, "Oh my God," in fucking night vision, and it's like, all right, fine, whatever. I mean, I guess you have to really want to believe if you're going to sit through what I presume is like half an hour to 45 minutes of that every fucking week, right?
Well, it's interesting that you've identified them as dude bros.
I can't remember. No, I saw.
What do you mean? You mean like jock types?
Yeah, like frat boys.
Really? I wouldn't have thought that those people were interested. Okay, that's interesting.
No. It's only because I saw clips of like maybe one or two, and I couldn't tell you what they were, but they were just these fucking. They're all in like hockey jerseys and baseball caps and shit like that, and they're like, oh man, seriously, and they weren't what I would kind of normally attribute as people that like interested in like the paranormal.
Okay, well, did you have a name? Is there a name for these people, or is this a show, or is this just something that's happening in your life around you?
I'm just getting these flashes in my brain, and I've got a horrible fucking nosebleed.
It's not actually any dude bros at all. It's just a couple of the mullets from the Breakfast Club.
I can only feel like one half of my face right now. Someone please call for a fucking doctor.
So anyway, the reason it's the most haunted, really, is Zach Bagans goes into this house and stays for a night, and the fucking house is so haunted that afterwards he has to wear corrective lenses for the rest of his life.
Oh my fucking God.
Yes, no, do not mock. His vision was permanently damaged by the ghost in the house.
It's not a commitment to his craft, and he's a complete charlatan. He just decided to, in between takes, or rather, and when they were doing the dailies in the morning, he just goes out and stares directly into the sun for like 10 minutes.
So anyway, what happened with this demon house was, as you would imagine, there was a problem family living in this house who thought, for some reason, they could make a buck if they played up to their history of mental illness, hoaxing things, but also kind of like convincing their own children, like, yeah, there's a ghost, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And the reason I can say it's only this family, because this house was obviously a house that was built sometime in the 70s or something like that. It looks like one of those. And there was only one family in there that ever had any problems. There were people before and after which never experienced any ghostly apparitions or feelings or any shit like that, because it's all bullshit. So,
of course.
So Zach Bagans goes in and he says, oh my God, yes, oh shit is happening. Oh, there's a guy who used to live here and later he died. Oh my God, can you imagine? It's like Gary, Indiana. It's like fucking Compton, right? It's incredibly poor and people die in incredibly poor neighborhoods. Oh, it's just terrible. You have to watch it. It's incredibly tedious as well as being terrible.
I love that as a recommendation. You have to watch it. It's so fucking tedious.
It's almost unbelievable because it's like someone has said, well, no one gives us respect because we're all like We're all. What's the expression I'm looking for? Balls deep, balls to the wall, balls out. It's something to do with balls. Because they're all like loud and like, oh my god, this is a poltergeist and all this shit. And I guess what he tried to do was make a fake documentary, a pseudo documentary, as Wikipedia calls it, which is the other side, which is like, oh, did you see that? Everything moved ever so slightly. Proof.
No,
that
was simply that was the cameraman. See, that's how it works. It's more a question of perceiving shape and color at distance.
These are small, but the ones out there are far away.
In Demon House as well, there's a moment where one of his cameramen loses his shit and then goes off and gets 666 tattooed on his hand.
Right, okay. So how do you tell that he's losing his shit? Does he just kind of erratically shake the camera?
No, he starts to say, oh god, I can see things, oh I'm freaking out. Oh, and then he attacks Zach Bagans. All at a fucking Travelodge as well, by the way. All on like the third floor of some airport Holiday Inn.
Right, okay, so the guy kind of tries to lamp Zach Baggins, the cameraman. So
No,
how do you see
Zach
this?
Baggins is the director. He would never hold a camera.
Yeah,
He
no,
got-
I'm saying the cameraman was
of the
accosted by Zach. Yeah, one of the cameramen.
One of the
So you
cameramen tried to assault Zach Baggins.
Right, but how do you see this? Is it like a first person view? You just see the camera and is it this guy with like his belt in his hand trying to like whip him, or is he like put it down and then someone else has got like a B shot of him kind of trying to tackle him?
It's like 3:00 in the morning in the hallway of a Holiday Inn. You know, the sort of place that you stay just for 8 hours. You know, it's a kind of horrible place. It's completely empty, apart from Zach Baggins, I guess the producer, and someone else, and they're all filming this guy freak out. And this guy's like walking up and down the hall, shouting, and then he tries to attack people. And it's all like, you know, it's interesting because you're watching it and you're thinking, is this just this guy faking it, or has he been manipulated into freaking out? Because he's clearly a weirdo anyway. You know, like when you watch a medium or something and you think, God, there's definitely a lot of narcissism going there, but how exactly is this one coming through?
I've always had that kind of suspicion as well. I mean, my question with the cameraman was if it was kind of like first person and he's like, yeah, he's wailing on him. Yeah,
It's not that bad, but yeah, go on.
My question was like, you know, I imagined, you know, what the dialogue was, and it's like, oh, you know, spooky ghost is telling me to do terrible things. If that was just ADR, and like the reality is like, where's my fucking money? My paycheck bounced, you piece of shit.
This cameraman was never promised any money.
Or maybe that's when the penny dropped, and he's like, fuck this, you fucking bastard.
This guy was like, you want me to spend a night in the most haunted house in America? Well, I mean, I suppose it beats the van.
I mean, I've seen those guys, the mediums and stuff on TV, and I don't know. Part of me wants to believe that it's, you know, these people know it's bullshit, and they've just got a right fucking pair of them, and they're just really going. They're just manipulating people, fucking hook, line, and sinker. But I don't know. There's something. I'm just not convinced. I reckon these people are just that fucking stupid, and they believe it themselves, and that's what. I think that makes them far more dangerous if they were, you know, they were actual charlatans that kind of knew it was bullshit, and they're just kind of, you know, they're just looking to make fucking shitloads of money out of exploiting morons.
You know, on Netflix where you find a series and it says whatever the series name is, and then it says season 7, only season available, and it's like, oh, okay, there's only one season available, and that season came out in 2011. And I found such a series called Rescue Mediums. And essentially what Rescue Mediums is about is Kim and Aggie go to people's houses who have experienced ghostly problems in the past, but not problems that are really bad. And they rescue, they go into the other world through their eyes and rescue the ghost from being there. They go to the ghost and they're like, you're dead. You don't need to haunt people. You can chill out in Manka Cameroon's paradise. That was an Oblivion reference for no reason. Yeah, but they just go around, and it is like they're cleaning someone's house. It's exactly like Kim and Aggie. They go around and they're like, "Oh, was there someone here who died of a heart attack?" And they know fucking full well the father died of a heart attack like 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's still there on the couch.
And it's always like, oh yes, I'm getting a lot of chest pains. He needs to be released into the other world. And it just boggles my mind that no one can see through this. I mean, maybe they can. Maybe these people are just sat there like, okay, we did this as a whim, or one of our family members is a kook, so we let these people into a house, and now they're recording their fucking TV series, and it's just bizarre. And I don't know what to do. I'll just sit here and be like, yes, the ghosts, yes.
I'd love... I mean, it must exist somewhere, right? Because I think the people that do sign up for this stuff... well, I mean, if they probably have lost a lot, and they're obviously in a kind of really kind of unbalanced emotionally. And, you know, for them, they are going through something that legitimately sucks. And they've found something that to believe in, which kind of gives them some kind of comfort. And they reach out to these people. I imagine when they do come round, you have these people, they put on their little show, and they will obviously be briefed, even if it's supposed to be like reality TV. They'll be sat down and say, we're going to talk about this, ask about this. You were given several prompts and blah 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 blah.
One of the family members is an old gentleman called Pierre. Do not mention Algeria ever. Do not mention it ever. I'm not going to say it again. Do not mention Algeria. That sort of thing.
Nothing like that. I imagine that there's a point where these people really believe in it, and they come in and the TV people come in and they start putting on their fucking show, and there's got to be a point, and I don't know if it's ever for some people, not everyone. There's got to be a point.
There's got to be a point where one of them says, "Do you mind if I use your loo?" And then they go there, and everyone knows they had a shit.
It's fucking
and it's
massive.
Awkward. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's awkward. They have one of those doors on their bathrooms that slides, and it doesn't quite close properly, and it's all a bit like, oh god, suddenly we're in a camper van. Well,
they should have put down like the courtesy papers in the bowl, so when it does fucking break the water, it doesn't make any noise. But they're there with a door that doesn't quite close, and you hear a massive fucking splash. And then you can't kind of pretend otherwise. You heard it, that's what's happening.
I thought when you said courtesy papers, I had a vision of me walking into your bath. I've never been to Damien's house, right? Me walking into Damien's house and going into the bathroom, and there just being loads of toilet paper all around the toilet. Like sawdust. Like, what is this?
Because the way I like to shit is I like to stand on the toilet bowl.
Well, it'd be a pissing thing, hopefully, but... Oh, I've told this story before on the Boisterous Brothers, but that reminds me of that guy who was super, super rich. He not a guy I knew, but a guy... I knew through someone else. He was super, super rich and incredibly smug. And one of the smuggest things he ever said, apparently, somehow, was that he only ever wiped his arse with one piece of paper. And he said this guy was worth millions, and he said this, and he said, I only wipe my arse with one piece of toilet paper to save the world. Yeah, think about it.
So yeah, I've got a quick question there. When he says one piece of paper, is that one at a time, or is it just one piece of paper that he can't?
Like he's under the impression that he's saving the world, but he's still using like a whole roll of toilet paper each time he has a shit, just sheet by sheet.
No. I think what I'm seeing in my mind, it is just one. It's
just
the
a whole
same
toilet
piece
roll.
It's the same piece of paper every single fucking time. Like it's not a toilet roll. No, it's like a nice like triple ply Bounty or something like that. It's like a kitchen roll. So it's quite large.
Lucius, you might as well be using your hand by now, mate.
Like he strategically wipes every time. It's not like he just kind of scrunches up and just goes fucking goes right at it. He like very strategically kind of like goes inch by inch. Like kind of he'll do like a small oscillation in like a certain patch, and he kind of moves up every time he takes a shit. And he's hoping that by the time that he has to kind of he goes kind of systematically kind of left to right, then goes down an inch, then just keep going left to right. He's hoping by the time he gets to that final corner that the shit that he will have taken essentially a month prior, that will have dried and chipped off, and that will be as absorbent as it once was.
Are we conflating this guy with the guy who only shits once a week? Because they're different people.
I don't know anymore.
And I suppose he's the sort of guy who would never say toilet paper. He would be more like toilet papyrus. That's what it would be. Okay. So
yeah, I interrupted
so one of these ladies goes in to take a shit. What was your point about that?
No, it wasn't about shits at all. We got off. It was like there must be like B-roll footage of these people, right? Who have like these celebrities, pseudo celebrities, come in and like chase ghosts in their house, and they're really they're reaching out to someone, looking for some kind of solace. They're believing in something that's helping them, and they look at these people and they see that they're absolute fucking morons, and there's got to be some point on like some of the fucking footage where the penny drops for these people, and their world is shattered, right? Completely fucking shattered. And they realize it's all fucking bullshit. You know, that everything is fucking hopeless. But they've got like these people like they know they've got these people harassing them for like the next week or two in their home, and they have to put on this shit-eating grin the whole fucking time.
You mean where like one of them will say like, now I'm getting the name Marjorie, and people are like, and then she goes, oh no, that's next week. Or something which kind of gives it away. Is that what you're talking about? Or just like looking at these people and looking at them, obviously talking shit to you, and then just the penny drops. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
just,
that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Yeah,
it could be absolutely anything. You know,
Yeah.
Whether
okay.
it's just like the act that they put on or something.
Okay, so I watched 3 episodes of this Rescue Mediums, and
Right.
obviously there's not going to be a moment where something very obviously staged happens because they edit that out, and obviously I never believed this, so it's not like the penny's going to drop. But there's a moment at the end of one of them where one of the women says something like,
There were so many spirits in the trees, weren't there?
But at least we know they were good.
How do you know they were good?
Because, Jackie, good things always come in threes.
and she's meant to say 3, but she says tree because the episode focused on a tree or something like that. And then they just like burst out laughing, and like you're waiting for the freeze frame with fucking Leslie Nielsen in the background.
They'll kind of jump up in the air at the same time.
It's just like, it's a terrible pun that she's obviously been fed like seconds before and hasn't even had time to say, that's shit, give me a better pun. And someone's just fed it to her and they filmed it, and the other one goes, ha ha ha, oh, that's a good one, Aggie, or whatever. And it's like, you people are the fakest fucking bitches in the world. I cannot believe what I'm looking at. Like, okay, swindle these morons for all they're worth because they believe in a ghost, but don't fucking laugh at shit that isn't funny. You're better than that.
So that's that's the thing that has really incensed you, not the exploitation at all. It's just, you know, the kind of application and of just really bad writing and comedy.
Well, the thing is it's so solvable because one of them does the shit pun, and then instead of laughing like a fucking tickled cat, a tickled cat. Sorry, I tried to say many nasty words at the same time there. Instead of laughing like a cunt,
Keep it simple.
keep it simple. Instead of laughing, just react like you would, like anyone would, to that terrible pun, and then look at the camera like, I can't believe I'm doing this dog shit, and then cut, and that would be funny. Obviously, I'm not really pissed off that it's not funny. I guess what I'm pissed off at is that
You caught yourself watching the show.
no, I watched it deliberately to talk about. What annoyed me was that they were being so kind of like flippant at the end, like, oh, this is a terrible joke, but it doesn't matter. But you've come into these people's lives and told them, like, yeah, your dad's in a better place and all this shit. And then at the end, it's like, lol. Anyway, you've taken me off topic. What I was going to say was this rich guy who would put his finger up his arse to wipe it. He would stand on his toilet. Like, he wouldn't sit on his toilet. He would stand on it, on the bowl, and shit, you know, like he was squatting.
Right,
like, he wouldn't even squat over the bowl. He would stand on the toilet. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Well, that's
You wouldn't do that in your socks, though, would you?
Well, I have a special pair of socks.
That
it's like those
makes
slipper socks.
the toilet affair a shoe job. I don't want to put my shoes on to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I've got like these special kind of outdoor socks which have kind of like rubber on the bottom.
Do you?
Yeah, and I use that. I use
my
these
God.
specifically for the toilet because it gives me the appropriate traction when I'm on the toilet seat. You see, Anything,
You see, that's your mistake. You've got to open the toilet to shit in it.
No, I tried. No. Well, see the lid of the, you know the fuck.
Okay, sorry, I'll stop fucking around. Yeah, clearly, yes. I'm 100% buying that you have special shoes to go to the toilet.
Well, they're not shoes. That's my point, because I think that's a bit too cumbersome.
Are they those shoes that divide your toes up?
Oh no! I couldn't do that. I couldn't wear those. Fucking hell!
The only time
that would make my skin crawl so much, even more than this fucking fake ass shit story.
They only belong on entirely bald men on underground tubes carrying oboes, don't they?
When I saw socks which have the toes in them, I thought that was kind of weird. But I imagine that shoes that have that kind of partition, it must be so fucking sore, right?
Well, okay,
because they're not going to be fitted, are they?
Well,
exactly.
Sometimes
they're going to fit, and then it's not going to work. Oh fuck! That's disgusting.
I see exactly what you mean, because I'm the further you go down my body, the more attractive I get. I have really nice feet and pretty good ankles and decent knees, but my feet are normal in that. It's big toe's the biggest, and then the second toe to the big toe, that's the second biggest, and it goes down like that. There's people with all sorts of manner of feet where their middle toe is the longest. Like, what is that about?
That's fucking disgusting.
That's a choice, and it's wrong. And I just think, how do they jam their fucking ugly feet into these things?
Well, I'm thinking now, right? And we talk about these shoes,
now.
which. We're talking now. Tuning in. It's
Damo's making music.
Wiggity wiggity scratch. Oh fuck it. What was I saying?
Who knows?
See, you've got these shoes which with the partition what have you. Maybe it's like those horrible fucking earrings that you get, which are designed to kind of stretch out your earlobes. So you've got all these shoes. The what?
Gauges.
Is that what they're called?
You mean those things that make holes in your ears?
What is that? The name of the actual piece of jewelry they stick in the earlobe to stretch it out?
It's a gauge, yeah, I think.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the same thing with these toes. These toe shoes. What would you?
Yeah, call them toe shoes. Yeah, everyone knows what you mean if you say toe shoes.
So they're kind of built to kind of dig into the trough of your toes, right? So, but you work up, as you say, in gauges, right? So you've got your standard fitted thing, and you keep working down. So it's designed to separate the toes more. So after a couple of years, you've got toes which are 4 inches long.
Sorry, what? Sorry, I'm sorry. I think
it's trying to shear the flesh away in between your toes.
No, what?
Right?
Is this just conjecture? Have you seen this, or are you just...
No, I'm speculating. Obviously.
What if these existed? What if some underwear existed that had a big gauge in them, so they made your arsehole really wide? No, have you seen...
full well there's a fucking market for that.
Yeah. Sorry, have you seen these?
No, not at all.
So you're just saying, what if?
Yeah, no, what if I could kind of shear the flesh away? I could end up with toes which individually are 5 inches long. So I would teach. I'd think really hard. I learn to control all the muscles. What's left of them, and I could use it like a new hand. So even longer fingers.
And how would this come about then? It would be some sort of hipster reading National Geographic, and on the front cover there's a lady from a tribe in sub-Saharan Africa who's got some sort of jewelry in her lip to make her lips bigger, and he's like, how bourgeois. I'm going to make it so I can't fucking walk.
Shooting myself in the ankle or clubbing my foot with a brick that's...
making my feet clubbed will pay off eventually when I start doing a shit like a rich man. Starts doing a shit like a rich man. I'm a poet.
That's what I'm doing. Basically, right, I like the fucking rubberized socks that I use, but what I would like is toes that I could kind of curl round the toilet bowl and grab like a hand. That would be the most legit, the most satisfactory and safest way I could do this.
I don't understand. Why do monkeys have hands for feet, but we don't? Wouldn't that be advantageous?
I suppose so. I mean, I've put my cards on the table. I've told you what I would do with hand feet. What would you accomplish if your feet were hands?
Oh well,
and this isn't a scenario where you've swapped them round. You've now got feet for hands.
No,
that
would be terrible. I've got 4 hands. Yeah, but is it just me who's got 4 hands, or is it everyone? Is the human race? Are the human race like that?
Does that necessarily change the outcome?
What's going on with my knees?
I mean, you've still got regular legs. It's just you've got essentially hands at the end of them, just slightly larger hands.
Just like an ape.
Yeah, essentially.
I think it would be very advantageous. I think we could. I think we could design the infrastructure of society differently, so we could swing about, and we wouldn't have to be on the floor very much. I wouldn't even have to touch the toilet bowl to shit in it.
When you say swing about, you mean like on vines, right?
Yeah, no, I mean on Tinder.
Vines that you'd only grab with your feet, your hand feet. Because we could do that now. We've still got hands we can swing.
Yeah, but I
could
do it much more effectively, couldn't I? With 4 hands.
I know. If I tried to grab a vine now, I'd plummet to my fucking death, even if it was only 15 feet.
Well, I'm assuming that wherever I'm going, I'm carrying a small cylinder of honey roasted peanuts. So really, when you think about it, that's only 1 hand,
which I'm clutching to my head,
possibly
which I'm clutching to my chest.
It possibly is no hands.
Which is why I need that hand feet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think as long as we can agree that whatever happens with those feet shoes, those toe shoes, as long as it's not Crocs, it's kind of okay. You're wearing Crocs right now, aren't you?
My Crocs.
Tartan.
No, they're bone white actually, and they've got a huge heel on them.
Really? Like the sort of shoe they give to people with a leg shorter than the other.
Yes, but I just said both my legs are shorter than the other, and that's how I've ended up with these orthopedic shoes.
With these stilts. Why don't you write a comment telling us how you would live your life if you had to wear orthopedic shoes?
Well, you had hands for feet.
No one's ever talked about that.
What's the deal with toe shoes?
I'll tell you what the deal is. They're shit. Ghosts, shit. Ghost documentaries, shit. Rich people who wipe their ass with 1 piece of paper, shit. Toe shoes,
almost
shit.
literally.
Yeah, well, you said you had a story.
Oh, well, I suppose it's yeah, it is.
It is a story.
It is a story. Just let me just kind of get my head together. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a work-related incident.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you better change the names to protect your identity, Damien Benedict.
And I don't know if I've mentioned this to you. I mean, there's a slight backstory here. If I mentioned to you of Mike or not, but did I ever tell you about the bidet at work?
The bidet? Oh, the bidet. Why do you have a bidet at work?
Well, no.
Who needs to be washing their nuts at work?
Well, that's it. It's not a bidet in the conventional sense, and we've got a couple of guys at work who.
Oh no!
Well,
I'm sorry. You told me that you had a story right at the beginning before we started recording, and for some reason I assumed that story would be about ghosts, not about the toilet. But of course, you knew what I would talk about.
Well, I thought it'd be a dynamite thing to kind of fucking whip out the bag straight out the gate after fucking 6 weeks or whatever it is.
Okay.
Because that's essentially what my stories are. I'm the shit man. But yeah, so we have the bidet that we've got at work.
The bidet.
We've got a couple
of
guys who hail from nations that are, I say, ever so slightly less developed than...
Fucking hell, Damien, Italy's got a GDP equivalent to Russia. It's the 9th biggest economy in the world.
Well, it's not Italy. It's not Italy.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. But these guys are not content. They've come here with their crazy customs, and they're not content with how we go to the bathroom here. And we've got 3 cubicles in the male changing room, and they're all invariably adequately stocked with toilet paper, and they're good to go when they're not covered in fucking chocolate freckles and pubes.
Oh my. Okay, so what you're saying is the toilet is perfectly clean beneath the shit.
Yes, yeah. Now, what we found.
That's grim, dude. Yeah, I mean,
It's
again, a reminder to our listeners that Damien works in one of the premier restaurants in London.
Yeah, I do.
As this senior person on a food line.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the shit-covered bathroom. You know you're going to lose your job, right?
Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, the sooner the better.
All right, okay.
At one point, maybe not. No, you're not this episode. I will.
Oh, yeah, spill all
the names. But yeah, we would.
Fucking,
find,
have you ever heard of that Ainsley Harriott? Ooh, he'll give you meat a good old rub.
Right, so the fucking thing at work. Every now and again, people, including myself, would find like an empty bottle of water in the fucking cubicles, right? And a lot of people for a long time kind of just shrugged this off, right? Because we've had a lot of drunks that have worked for us, and we would find like cans in the ceiling or bottles like stashed behind the U-bend and stuff like that. So finding something like that wasn't necessarily bizarre. I mean, it's weird, it's gross, right? The idea of anyone kind of going in there, I know how fucking filthy it is to drink. I mean, if it's booze, you're trying to hide it, that kind of makes sense, but just water is kind of curious. People didn't know, right, for a while, until like one of there are these 2 guys which are guilty of doing it, right? Well, they were for a while.
Yeah, they're dead now.
They would go quite obviously for a shit. They'd fire it out, and it would just it sound like a fucking tsunami. And they would walk out with this empty bottle of water. They'd fucking cram it into the fucking sinks, fill it up. They just 180, and they go back in. Right?
I'm sorry. What?
They'd take a shit. They'd walk out of the cubicle. The sinks are directly in front of like the doors. So they just walk straight out.
Okay.
They'd fill it up with fill up the bottle of water and just go back inside.
So when they took the shit and then got the bottle of water, did they pull their pants up or did they waddle?
Yes, they pulled it. They put everything back together. Right.
Oh man, well that defeats the fucking purpose, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but I think I saw this, and I think I just caught it. These guys aren't the smartest, and I think I just caught them the one time. Well, I'd say the one time I give them credit that they hadn't really put the forward thinking in. But basically, they were going with this fucking 500 ml bottle of like Evian and what have you, filling it up, and then just fucking blasting their ass with it, right?
Right. I mean, okay. I mean, were they putting it in their ass?
It's more fun to speculate. I don't really know, right? I imagine, like, if you were trying
maybe they would drink the Evian really quickly, and then because they've got foreigners' digestive systems, they would just
shit out more shit, which will hopefully blast away the already fucking excess shit.
It will eventually clean everything. Eventually, if I just keep pumping myself with water.
I mean, I imagine they must have to get right up in the cheeks, right? Because, look, I saw this bottle, right? And it used to be like a standard bottle of water. But after a while, I think they fucking figured it out, right? Particularly if what they were doing was they would fucking get dressed, walk out, and fucking obviously smush the cheeks and what have you and go back. I think they realized that just simply pouring water down doesn't work. So you just had those standard ones. After the next couple of days, we found the same fucking same situation. We'd find a bottle of water, but it had one of those sport caps this time. They're the ones with the kind of like sport nipples on the top, which you just kind of like suck on as you squeeze the bottle.
Like a Lucozade Energy or a Gatorade.
Yeah, something like that. But something which had a nib. So they realized they needed something to kind of build up pressure, right? So they kind of realized they needed to like really fucking hose it down. And they got busted for this, right? And people were like, this was fucking disgusting. No, it wasn't only that, right?
It's not just disgusting. It's to be honest, it's more
fucking
bizarre.
Baffling.
It's more bizarre. It's more baffling.
It's really
than even
bizarre.
disgusting. I mean, it is disgusting because I imagine they just got shit water everywhere.
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe that kind of explains the mess. But yeah, no,
Has there ever been an episode where we do not talk about getting shit on the walls of your workplace's toilet? Workplace's toilet cubicles?
It follows me around. It follows me fucking around, right? People were talking shit, but I remember they went to the managers, but they went to the managers with like something they'd taken on their fucking phone, right? Because it wasn't enough that they were fucking blasting their asses with like a fucking bottle of water, but what they would also do. But there was, they'd take like the toilet roll, the whole toilet roll, like a catering, like a public bathroom type one. So it's a really big one, and they would put that down on the floor in front of them, and they would, for some reason, rest their bare feet on the toilet roll while they're on the toilet, blasting their ass with this bottle of water. And
they would get a toilet roll, a virgin toilet roll.
Yep, yeah.
And place it on the porcelain.
And then so the fucking lino,
the lino. Oh, really? And they would put it on the lino, and then they would
use it as a cushion. They just rest their feet on it.
A cushion, but a bizarre cushion. I mean, that's not comfy. I've never sat down and thought, my foot could be raised by 6 inches.
No, it's not that. I mean, you had it was your reaction. You said, I mentioned lino, you were like, yeah, well, I think that's what's going through their mind as well. For whatever reason, these guys.
But why do they have to be bare feet?
I don't know, but they seem to need to, right? So they've obviously decided that they need to fucking save their feet somehow, and they've decided that everything that normal people use to wipe their ass is what they're going to rest their fucking feet on. That was the fucking final straw when that fucking went up. It's like, it's fine, I guess, if you want to like wash your ass that way, but if you're desecrating what we use to wipe our ass, that's it, you're done. And they were kind of, they were outed, and they were kind of, let's say, all right, fine, whatever. And I didn't see this again for a long time. The bottle was out. The bottle was fucking done.
Man, do you know what the worst thing is, right? Do you know what the worst thing is? I'm not into fucking scatology. I'm not into scatological humour either. The sort of humour I watch is witty and clever, and yet I can't fucking stop listening to you. Yes, continue.
Oh yeah, well, see, yeah, it gets a lot worse. I mean, this is
what? But okay, but the foot thing is baffling. Can we just examine why you would do that? Where's the advantage?
I don't understand. I don't know if it's upbringing or what, or is it just because they just want to fuck with people? Like the guy that did it got busted. So what happened was someone saw like the toilet roll underneath the cubicle with this guy's feet on it. So he got his phone and he just like recorded this guy and just with his feet all over this fucking thing. And he just take a look at this, and he just fucking passed it around to everybody. And it's like, oh, that piece of because everyone knew exactly who it was, and it's like that is fucking revolting. You absolute fucking monster.
But I agree. But listen, it's not upbringing to do that. Like upbringing is he washes his ass with water. That billions of people do that, right? Or their hand, which they wash. Right, many people do that and manage to make it fucking hygienic. The toilet roll on the floor with him, with his hands on it, with his feet hands on it.
I don't
why?
I don't know. Maybe it's maybe he has a troubled sphincter and he needs to kind of like raise. He needs his knees raised.
It's a blood
to
flow
get the
thing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe. Like at home, he actually has like a specific cushion that he needs, and he's like too ashamed to bring it to work, so he kind of like he found a substitute. I don't know. I feel like we would have seen this on more occasions, but
after he finished using this single toilet roll as an Erdogan Ottoman, and did he peel off the outer layer or? I suppose you wouldn't know, would you?
No. It was laid on its side, so it was like in one side of the toilet roll was contaminated by the floor, the other side by his feet. So it doesn't matter how far you went down the roll.
So when you say it was laid on its side, so okay, so you see, this is the problem. We don't have a definition of what the side of a toilet roll is. Are you talking about Is it
Yeah.
the curved side it was resting on?
No, the two flat sides. It was resting on one of the flat sides.
So his feet was resting on the flat side. Well, that doesn't make sense either. If you're going to do it, do it on the curved side. So you got the curve of your feet with the toilet roll. I thought that would be the appeal.
You know what?
You know what? I'm going to do it.
This happened like maybe 8 months ago, 8 months ago. That of all the conversations and all the speculation, that never came up. No one ever thought to consider that angle.
Damien, I thought this happened in our interlude.
No, there's a follow-up, all right? So this happened, and then, like, once, the video went round, the man's just like, I can't ignore this. Just don't fucking do this. If you're caught, that's it. I don't know. I don't want to say they were out, but they would have been docked quite a lot of fucking money, right?
Okay. Well,
so they somehow kind of like figured out how to like wipe their ass properly with decorum, keep their shoes on.
Just don't go at work if it's a problem.
Well, it is a problem now, right? So I'm never shooting at work ever again because what happened today was, the bottle came back, right? And normally they just kind of like blast their ass and they leave like an empty thing around the back of the sides. But for whatever reason, there was a bottle there, and because it hadn't been fucking months, never thought to fucking look, right? So I'm there fucking curling out a fucking biscuit.
Oh no! I didn't need to know that.
Well, I'm on the fucking toilet. It's part of the story.
Yeah, just say that. Just say things like that.
I was sat on the toilet with my trousers around my ankles, but I wasn't taking a shit. I was just fucking trying to kill time at work. But I go to scratch my ankle, right? And I kick this fucking bottle over, and my fucking shoes are flooded with this fucking water, right?
Damien, you have such a shit life.
I do have such a
You
shit
have such
life.
a shit
And
life.
I fucking recoil in fucking horror. My legs fly up in the fucking, in this fucking cubicle. This thing is fucking ruined my shoe, right? My socks are fucking sodden. Right, it's there. It's my feet are swimming in whatever. See, I just.
Oh no, not the SpongeBob socks.
What I don't get right is I guess these people blast their ass, but for whatever reason they've refilled. I didn't look right, so this bottle goes over. I don't know if it was like half full, so they'd gone and they realized they felt like it was enough. But the fucking
man,
bottle
please stop
made its fucking its comeback, and it's. I suffered greatly because not only that, this was in the middle of work when it's fairly busy and they need me back in the kitchen, but I can't go back because I've got to fucking hover over the fucking one of the fucking bathroom sinks trying to desperately fucking clean my feet. But then I realized, how do I go back to work? My fucking shoes and my socks are fucked. So one of the fucking
This was in the
kitchen
first
porters,
half an
right?
hour as well, wasn't it, Damien?
No, this was been a few hours in when it's fucking busy. We're just on the fucking tail end, but they need me to not fuck around. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. There's one guy that's walking by the changing room. I managed to, I call him in and I ask for like fucking help. I didn't ask for help, so what do I fucking do, right?
I've fallen in!
One of the KP's caught one
Damien,
of
this
he's
isn't
like,
the Splish Splash show. I'm sorry, I couldn't not do it.
One of the fucking KPs who's a little bit deranged, right, says, I've got like a sock you can borrow in my locker. And it's like,
What?
Don't even open your fucking locker. All right? Oh, dear. I mean, it's really sweet. The guy is like not all there. I've seen this guy eat a piece of cheese out of a bucket of dishwater.
Again,
He just reaches
Damien
in.
works at the sort of restaurant where you will have to pay at least $300. Right? I want to make that absolutely fucking clear. You, Johnny Shitty, so you and me, we cannot get into this restaurant. We have to go in suits to get into this restaurant.
That is entirely fucking correct. Yeah, no, my mom, having worked in restaurants for so long, my advice to everyone is never go to a fucking restaurant ever. Because they're fucking disgusting places. As a fucking rule. I came back quite late from work, and I told George that I had to fucking set up the mics and what have you. I had the system set up from the beginning of the day. I just came back and I've just spent 50 minutes just fucking boring so much fucking skin off with my girlfriend's loofah.
I'm sorry, what?
Boring
your
the skin.
girlfriend's loofah?
Yeah, well, what are they called?
Well, you're just contaminating your place now, aren't you?
Yeah, I know, but I've got to do something. I've got to get this fucking flesh. Because not only do I have this fucking shit water that has been fucking festering, I've got potentially the verrucas that are coming from like someone else's shoe that I've had to wear barefoot for like fucking 4 hours of work on my fucking feet.
Damien, I think you should just lose the leg.
Yeah, I think so. I would not be surprised if my right leg would be consumed with sepsis and gangrene by the fucking morning.
Well, okay. Oh, well, maybe you shouldn't be talking to me. Maybe you should be hacking at it right now.
Should be hack the bone.
Oh, well, that's grim. If it cheers you up, I once knew a lady who was on the London Underground once, and she got off, and she found that someone had jizzed on her.
That is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Is there any more colour or detail to that story, or is that just that what happened?
She had no idea who it was or when it happened, and was, as you would imagine, horrified.
That would be very, very upsetting.
See, Damien, you have to walk through shit, but then sexual assault, that's a thing too. This brings me back to the ghost thing. Right? I remember once talking to a guy. Have you finished with your fucking story, by the way?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, is there more?
Well, kind of, a little bit, but it's not. Look, I got fucking furious when I was back on my feet. Right, I had to speak to the manager and say, "This is unfucking real. I don't know what this fucking bullshit is." And I've had trouble with the manager because I've had problems at work with.
Because you're one of those.
What is one of those?
Well, you know exactly what you are, don't you?
Mm.
Have you ever been working in a place where you haven't had a problem with the manager?
I suppose not. No, but I've been kind of trying to break ground because I've had with this shitheel because I've had like problems with theft at work. Like people have stolen what were seemingly minor things, but kind of amped up, and when you look back, it's kind of ridiculous. Every time I've gone to them about like my issues, not just with that, but anything with work, they kind of like brush off whatever I'm talking about.
Hey, Damien, did anyone ever steal your earphones?
They did.
They didn't because they were fucking my earphones.
And I'm writing you up right here. You
right now, yes. They were lovely Apple earphones. I don't even have an Apple Pod, but I had those Apple iPod earphones, whatever, and you fucking took them, didn't you?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, I think you did.
I think it felt good. It felt good. But yeah, no, I've broken no ground with this
now
manager.
who's wearing the shitty sock?
But this was something they got really fucking passionate about. This is something they really listened to me on, and they really want to fucking go around fucking giving people shit about this weird way that people don't choose to fucking deal with their personal hygiene, right? And the way he's talking about it is that they're going to be like almost.
Well, so they didn't care that people were stealing from you.
They didn't give a fuck about that, right? But they do care about this fucking personal hygiene. They were going to say, like, we're gonna have to get people in, and we're going to talk about this fucking shit, get people around. So they're going to be like seminars at fucking work about how to wipe your ass, right? And
all because of you,
because of me, right? And these are the same people that put my mug on, on the fucking website and their little Instagram and stuff like that. So I've been the face of that. I'm hoping, right, that I'm going to become the poster child for like this fucking movement that's going to be fucking going through the restaurant now of learning how to wipe your ass. I want posters now up at work saying you need to learn how to wipe your ass, and it's going to be me, like Uncle fucking Sam, pointing at them and fucking giving them the fucking eyes.
I thought you were going to say Uncle Fester.
Even better.
Yeah, inexplicably with a light bulb in your mouth. Prove there's no place that the sun don't shine.
Well, they could go the other way. I don't know. They could like just paint me as a fucking paint me as a victim when they fucking talk about it. It's like, this man has his feet covered in shit.
Why didn't they care about theft though?
Oh, because I have no fucking idea. Because essentially they have no way of proving it. Even if I never really had suspicions who fucking did it. But the locker rooms, because they are where people change, they're not under fucking surveillance. So
yeah. They would have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
these
just
things
kind
are
of
invariably-
shitty, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
Who wants to
I
work
would
with
have
thieves?
appreciated a better attitude. It's like, oh, that really sucks, but like, oh, we can't really do anything. It's like, well, can you not listen to me for at least 2 fucking minutes, you fucker?
Can you not better consider who to employ?
Yeah. Well, I think they have, but invariably, particularly a lot of the KPs and what have you, no one wants to fucking wash dishes.
By the way, if
People that do are-
anyone not in the restaurant lingo, KP is nut chef. Continue, Damien.
Yeah, but the people that are gonna, no one wants to wash dishes, so the people that get in are people that are fucking either hard off, but they just do not give a flying fuck.
Well,
So, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
They seem to, that's invariably is a way that the criminal element seems to bleed into the establishment anywhere that I fucking worked.
Yeah. And you only get paid £7,000 a year. It's like your life is
Every
just utter
other year,
shit. Yeah. You have to live in Trafalgar Square. You have to live in Nelson's Column with Hubbub.
So Unfriended 2.
Unfriended 2. So the rescue mediums, what I was going to say, because I have one more point, and by God, am I going to shit this point out. I remember, so it just made me remember a conversation I had about 10 years ago with someone, and they were talking about getting a medium sort of person into their home because they felt as if they had some sort of darkness over their family. And this person was an Irish person, and this medium told them that there had been a baby that had been killed by a Cromwellian soldier. Now, I just want you to think about that, because that may well have happened, but a Cromwellian soldier, that's hundreds of years ago.
Mm.
And it just always strikes me that, like, you think that is the only shit that's happened to your family? Just because people haven't told you stuff doesn't mean that nothing else has happened. And I don't know, I guess I just wanted to kind of talk about how awful the world is and use that as a guise to get there. No, not that.
But I think you should be very careful here, because if the right people get wind of this, because what you're saying is that everywhere you look has the potential to be fucking haunted, right?
I guess that is what I'm saying. I mean, yes. Not really, but yes. Absolutely, I mean.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, just be very careful, because anyone's going to make a case to talk absolute fucking shit all the fucking time about this kind of garbage. Yeah. And there needs to be less of it. Yeah. And, poor on whoever it was you were talking about, who was so fucking naive as to believe that was the only darkness that had attributed itself to that tiny area.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to bring up that everything's fucked.
Okay, cool.
I've been watching The Walking Dead, sorry.
And it's not how you're reflecting on society watching Walking Dead. It's just the quality of the show is terrible. And I just don't have anything good to say about anything anymore, Damien.
No, actually, I've been watching a playthrough of the video games.
A playthrough of the video games? What?
Yeah, like it's like a choose-your-own-adventure sort of game.
Right, okay.
And I've been watching PewDiePie play that.
And I'm on the edge, Damien.
I told you, cheers finished.
I've had a fucking blade, held at my wrist.
Seriously, the games are way better than the TV series.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's no fucking Rick.
Okay, well, what are the games called? Because I'm not that.
They're just called The Walking Dead video games.
Right. Okay.
Or The Walking Dead the game, I think, or something. And there's
this is like a choose your own adventure thing. Is
it's
this like
a choose your own
PC
adventure thing? It's I think it's on all of the platforms, but there's very little gameplay. It's very much like watching episodes of The Walking Dead, but with completely different characters. And I just think it's exactly the same formula, right? It's hopeless situation to hopeless situation. People come and people die. It's exactly like the TV show. It's just well written. It's like the first season never got. Well, it's like the first season. The first season was better, right?
Yes. Well, it's difficult to say. I remember enjoying watching the first season, but then it just kind of ambled on. It's like, that was the problem. Kind of dispelled it for me.
And that was the interesting thing about those video games. I think there's a new one out, but I haven't seen that or anything. But the interesting thing about the video games I've seen is it's exactly like The Walking Dead, but without that feeling of being stretched to fill a certain time slot.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's almost like they made season 3 but said, let's just make 6 episodes because that's all we need, and they were really good episodes. It's unthinkable, isn't it?
No, my go-to for things like that is, what was it?
Well,
It
Breaking
was
Bad, I guess.
Yeah, The Fly. That was the
Yeah.
one that really was like, oh, okay, this is done. Oh yeah, I watched. Was it Better Call Saul put up their first episode of the new season?
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I watched
Well,
that. and,
welcome to Netflix chat, everyone, by the way.
I'll keep it fucking brief, but I forgot just how long-winded it is, and I will watch it, and I'm sure I'll get some enjoyment out of it. But I remember like watching watching it for quite a while, and like nothing really was going on, really. And I thought, I must have watched like 5 minutes of this, and I like just moved the mouse, checked the scrub bar, and I'm at like the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
And it's been like fucking 100 words of fucking dialogue at this point. It's like, oh, what? Okay.
No, and
It wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's like, oh wow, this is. Oof.
no, and that's why I think that the first season of The Walking Dead and these video games I'm talking about are different, because I remember the first season of The Walking Dead being very much this happens and then this happens and then these people meet each other and then this happens and then this happens, and really the formula with Better Call Saul, which I do think is good, a good show, but the formula with that is one thing happens each episode, maybe one thing for each character, and then that's it, and we're going to stretch it out as much as we want. And now I'm just thinking about Face Off. Would you be interested in watching Face Off this week and talking about it with me next week?
Yeah, all right. Why not? I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen Face Off.
Fair enough. And then
Fair enough.
Well, Damien, I don't want to colour your judgment on it before you see it, but it is utter shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Is
and it is
okay.
glorious.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. That's what we can look forward to next week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for listening. Bye.
Goodbye.
Flash it burning, 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 flash it burning.